We're going to speak now to Richard Wellings, who's Director of the Institute of Economic Affairs and joins us now from central London. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Do the benefits make this economic sense?
No, the economic case for High Speed 2 is very weak, and the government's making a basic economic error here in ignoring the horrendous costs of the tax bill needed to fund HS2. And it's not just the basic cost of around 33 billion, there'll also be loads of add-ons, so linking infrastructure around the stations, the huge regeneration schemes that will be taxpayer funded, the kind of thing we saw along the route of High Speed 1. So this is very, very bad news for taxpayers and the wider economy.
But aren't the knock-ons, the extra jobs, the work, guaranteed work for a number of years, aren't they positives in that?
No, I think I'm pretty sceptical about the regeneration effects as well. And if you look at somewhere like Doncaster, which has had a very fast link to London for decades now, it still remains one of the poorest towns in the UK. And if you compare its poverty statistics with neighbouring boroughs that don't have the same links to London, they're very similar. So I think this is no panacea in terms of regenerating the north.
We're good at throwing billion-pound figures around. I mean, what does £33 billion actually mean to each taxpayer in this country?
Well, I mean, the eventual cost could be closer to 40 or 50 billion, including all the add-ons, and we're looking at something like a £2,000 bill per household, which is absolutely horrendous. This will obviously have a knock-on effect on the wider economy. And of course, Northerners pay tax too, so it will have a deadening effect on the Northern economy while the thing's being constructed.
And when you're talking about the Northern economy, of course, one of the criticisms is that this doesn't actually help cities within the north.
Yes, and I think really the main priority for transport in the north would be improving links between some of the cities, particularly across the Pennines, so better links between Manchester and Sheffield. At the moment, the road links between the two are absolutely appalling. Also, tackling congestion on the M6 between the Midlands and the northwest. Those should be the two key priorities. And if the government decides to invest in those sort of projects, the economic returns will be much higher for every pound they spend.
If you're cutting the journey time between London and Manchester down to just over an hour, who benefits from that?
Well, I mean, that's another issue. I think the beneficiaries will be a fairly narrow band, so it won't be ordinary people. It will tend to be so-called business users, but a lot of these business users won't be well-creating entrepreneurs. There'll be people that work for the government in various forms or professionals that rely on government regulations for their jobs. So it's not clear it's going to be a huge boost to the economy in that way either.
One benefit, though, is that some of these stations are not going to be in the heart of the towns, which will mean less disruption and cheaper, too.
Yes, I mean, I think that was the right decision, but obviously it has upset some of the councils and it does affect some of the door-to-door times for people going from city centre to city centre. And of course, it would be possible to speed up links to, say, Sheffield using existing infrastructure. So if we sent trains via Doncaster, it could be done in 1 hour 40 now. But obviously there isn't a market for those kind of services, which actually questions the business case for High Speed 2 more fundamentally.